So today, we're going to be talking about finances. Specifically, what would you do if you inherited 7,000 shares of Apple? This is something I was scrolling through my YouTube news feed. Came across two financial people that I follow. They were talking about this. So, start off, this is filmed Sunday, August 23rd to 2020. Apple is set to do a 4-to-1 stock split on Monday, August 24th. So that means that if you inherited 7,000 shares of Apple, you would, as of tomorrow, you would have 28,000 shares, and then whatever the price is worth. However, all of my financials and everything else is going to be based off of 7,000 shares at the current stock price of around $420, $425 off the top of my head. So about 3.2, 3.3 million, give or take. Anyway, second, my condolences go out to the dude whose grandfather died and left him 7,000 shares of Apple. And God willing, he doesn't do like I did when my brother died and left me $100K. God willing, he won't do that. Anyway, this is what I would do if I were him. The very first thing is if I inherited it like last week, I would wait for the stock split and see what happens with that. Second, I would sell just enough to pay off any debt. Actually, scratch that. Very first thing I would do is go find an accountant and get the exact tax info that I need in order to not be screwed and to know what to expect as far as taxes and everything goes. Then I would sell off just enough to pay off any debt that I had. Any debt. I would be 100% debt free. Then I would continue to work my job. I would continue to live my life as I have been for at least 3 to 6 months, preferably 6 months to a year, and just kind of let it sit there. I mean, unless Apple, so it's about 120, 130 a share. If it drops down, do a 4-to-1 split, so each share should be worth about $100. If it like catastrophically drops to like 75, or I'd say anything less than about 85 a share, I wouldn't mess with it, wouldn't touch it, wouldn't do anything. I would kind of keep an eye on it and make sure, but I would just kind of normalize myself to having this much money. Then, this is almost as important as waiting 6 months. Don't loan, don't give, don't do anything to anybody. I don't care. You're going to have people, if you're stupid enough to put it on Facebook, you're going to have people come out of the woodwork, claim to be family, claim to be cousins, claim to be long lost second, third, fourth, eighth cousins, twice removed. Just don't. Just ignore them. Pretend that you're still making $11K a year working at Kroger. Alright? At 6 months to a year, I would actually start diversifying. this is where it gets kind of tricky, because everybody's going to have their own opinion. So Apple doesn't meet my criteria for long-term investing. So at about the 3 to 6 month mark, I would start cashing out. At about the 3 month mark, I would start cashing out and I would start investing in other things. The reason why I'm going to do it that way is because that way you can dollar cost average over an extended period of time. Also, in theory, you shouldn't get hit too terribly in taxes. I am not an accountant. I am not a lawyer. I am an idiot with a camera. So, don't quote me on this. Don't take this as actual financial advice. But the way that I understand tax law is that you shouldn't be taxed on it until you cash it out. So, dollar cost averaging over a year or two. In other words, taking 100K in Apple stock, cashing it out, purchasing another investment, whatever that may be, you should only be taxed on the 100K profit that you took from selling Apple. That's my understanding of how that works. That's why I advised you at the beginning of this video to go talk to an accountant. Go talk to a CPA, somebody who actually knows what they're doing. Now, onto the nitty-gritty stuff. This is how I would more than likely diversify my account. This is going to be very boring. It's not going to be sexy. It's not going to be anything else. I am looking purely for income, so I never have to work another day in my life. And I could actually probably do that off of 800K. Definitely do it with 3 million. So, I would take 1 million, put it in a ETF with a decent dividend yield. The one that I currently am invested in, actually, is, I want to say it's Vanguard? VWM. VWM, it is Vanguard's Dividend Fund ETF. That is actually the one that I'm currently invested in. And no, honestly, I'll probably put about $1 million in that one. Then I would take and I would put about $1 million, $1.2 million into real estate. If you understand purchasing houses and you understand renting houses and everything, you are more than welcome to go that route. Me personally, I do not. What I do understand are REITs, real estate investment trusts. What I would do is I would look into all the different REITs. I would make sure that they are not mortgage backed, that they are actually using your funds to purchase actual real estate, that they are not doing mortgage securities or anything like that. The two that come to the top of my mind that I've been researching and looking into investing in for about the last 3 months are Diversify and Fundrise, I believe. Not affiliated, they're not paying me for anything. Those are just the two that I've been researching and would like to invest in at some point. So I would take $1 million, $1.2 million, put into that. I would take another $1 million, and I would put it probably, I wouldn't put it into an IRA, and I wouldn't put it into a 401k. I would probably pick another high yield dividend ETF, and just put it in there. And then I would collect, I mean, criminy, 3 million at a modest return of anywhere from 3 to 8%. You should be well into the six figures if you invest it properly. Then I would take 200K, and that's what I would use as my play money. That would be my guilt-free spending. That would be my go out and buy a sports car type fund. I wouldn't buy anything too extravagant because I don't want to pay the insurance on it, but that would be what I would do. If I wanted to buy a house or some land to put like a tiny house on or something like that, I would do that with about 200K. And then that would be about it. But that's how I would do. That's if somebody handed me $3.2 million and said, "Here, Merry Christmas," this is what I would do. Anyway, that should be it with my rambling for today. Thank you. Have a good one. Enjoy.